Something about this internet, it just cuts out for like 5 seconds and then we'll come back. What a piece of shit internet. I should change the company, honestly. But I also plan on moving, so it feels like just a lot of extra work. Anyways, back to the character popularity poll shit I was talking about. I forgot which arc this is from. 5th, Ishida. 4th, Grimjo. 3rd, Ichigo. 2nd, Lukia. What is going on with this odd man out at fucking first? First, Hitsukaya. Who is this random character? Well, it's a random short ass bitch, annoying character who I guess the Fujos all decided that they were gonna vote for. Yes, the Shota Fujoshi. So this was one of the most earliest obvious examples of the female fan base being like, this is our character, and then they have this huge organized voting efforts to make him number one. And then you started to see this in literally every manga going forward. It became especially prominent in sports manga, where it's basically impossible to have a sports manga without like at least 5 or 6 different ikemen in it at this point. The primary consumers of sports manga are not men who like that sports in 2026. They are females who like the men playing those sports and engaging in homosocial relationships with each other. That's so rigged. You can send more than 1 vote per person, so... Anyways, so what this comes down to is women are way more dedicated in their fandoms and much more likely to sort of compete with each other on how much money they spend on merchandise and shit. The male otaku fandom was basically just like the otaku would like, he'd be like, Ayanami is my waifu, and he'd buy a bunch of like Ayanami posters and stuff. And that was like about as far as it went. And also the number of male otaku who would do shit like that were way fewer than the number of female otaku who would do shit like that. And now that the industry has noticed that the way to make money is by appealing to women, there's really no going back. Hystrixia, it's time to time out Constrictor again because he's annoying me. I don't know how he got his text to go upside down, but please shoot his ass. Thank you. Baby dudes need to amp up their loyalty. I don't know, man. It's just a difference in how the genders interact with things in terms of fandom. I think I need to make her hips even wider. What's the maximum width I can make the hips? Women are a totally different beast in fandom. Here's another thing. For example, there are stage plays of everything from, I don't know, like Gintama to Prince of Tennis to Yowamushi Pedal. But the unifying theme of all these stuff is that they are franchises consumed by female. So you can't have an otaku thing for male otaku where these male otaku are going to go out in real life and watch a fucking stage play, but you definitely can have it for female-oriented media franchises. Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is also primarily female, especially Fujoshi, for obvious reasons, but the Yowamushi Pedal stage play is actually pretty inspiring for what they're doing on stage. I don't know if you guys have seen clips of it. It's truly like a theater of the mind kind of situation, because they don't have any bicycles on the stage. Did the internet cut out again? Jesus Christ, that's so annoying. It just cut out for like 1 second. Internet acting up. It glitched out for 1 second for me as well. Your stream was a slideshow for a solid 2 to 4 minutes? Jesus Christ. Open shirt. Well, it might be time for me to actually change the internet. If this keeps on happening frequently, then I might have to get a new internet company. This is kind of pretty fucking awful. I had just inherited my internet from my late aunt, so obviously an old person is probably going to have shitty internet. Pretty bad for a hot minute, huh? Does BB not have fiber? I don't know what's being used. It doesn't really bother you if you are just using it on an individual basis because it reconnects immediately, but for streaming it's absolutely not acceptable at this point. I just don't feel like fiddling with the people who are my like infrastructure providers because I don't plan on staying here for that long. It feels just like a lot of extra steps for something that I plan on changing anyway. Once you're gone, it would be additional costs on your cousin, wouldn't it? So she's still managing all the payment structure. So I feel like maybe I just stick with it for a few months. And I'm planning on moving during the summer anyways, so... And I just give her cash. I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it. Is Japanese ISP better than compared to US ISP? Yeah, it is better. It's just that the ISP that I have is my aunt's ISP, which is obviously not better. But unlike US ISP, Japanese internet service, they have more than like the 2 cable companies, so that counts for quite a lot. Also, it's a much more urban environment, so there's just very few situations in which you don't have high-speed internet. Maybe use the time to find a better provider for the upcoming move? Maybe. I haven't decided where I'm going to move yet, so even I don't know. I don't really know what provider I'm going to use anyways. The summer move would need to be done either high in the morning or at night because the midday sun would probably inflate the cost. No, it wouldn't. What are you talking about? Also, I'm just going to be moving myself. I don't have a bunch of, like, furniture to move. I just have 2 suitcases. The only thing that I might need to get shipped would be my monitor. That's it. I haven't bought anything new though. Whatever costs I have are just me carrying my own shit. So. You would rent a K truck for the move? No, I just have my monitor shipped using a shipping company, and then I just get on a train and take my 2 suitcases worth of shit to the new apartment. That's all. Do you have a general idea of where you're going? I'm assuming slight east and north. So, I did a pretty long talk about this in one of the previous streams recently, but there's like basically like 3 options if I want to be in a place that's cool during the summer. One is to go to high altitude. That's places like Nagano, Karuizawa, and Nagano. The other is go to the east coast of the far east coast of Japan, where the Pacific Ocean's water currents affect the temperature, and it's cool in the summer and hot or warm in the winter or something. And then the third is going up north. In which case I have to deal with a shit ton of snowfall during the winter. And I was gonna be like, I ain't gonna do this. But then I was looking at photos and stuff of Sapporo, and Sapporo seemed kind of nice. There are limiting factors though for each of these. And one is if it's a location that's too non-urban, then I won't be able to live without a car. So that can be prohibitive. I'm going to try checking out these Chiba coastal towns on the eastern shores of Chiba, which is where it's apparently cool. BB, you should use Yamato Transport. They're the one with the 2 Black Cat logo. Sunhawk, you're constantly posting advice for what I should do in Japan, and let me tell you, I'm more in tune with what is going on in Japan at the moment. And everybody says don't use Kuroneko Yamato right now because they fired all their the traditional people that were working for them, and then they realized that they can't do their job without employees to transport shit. And then they tried to rehire a bunch of like Pakistani and Sri Lankan immigrants and stuff like that. And everyone's like, yeah, I don't use this place. This place sucks now. So yeah, I'm not using Yamato. Is he DCing for your all? He's DCing for everybody. Snow isn't that bad. I already complained about this as well, but you don't understand how much snow. Okay, Sunhawk, you're not allowed to provide me with any advice anymore because you don't know what you're fucking talking about. Sunhawk mansplaining to the Japanese man. Sunhawk was the one who's like, you should go to Aomori. And I did this last stream. But global snowfall cities. Winter in Japan. Do you see this white snuff? It's snow. What is the snowiest city in the world? Aomori City. It gets 7 meters of snowfall per year. Okay? Aomori Green Forest. I ain't doing this, guys.
トラックがスタックした模様です。いやー、ちょっとこれ通れないんじゃないか。
先月中旬から寒波の影響で雪が降り続き、今月1日には
Yakutsk is actually the worst, but people forget that Hokkaido is right by Russia. So people in chat keep on being like, oh, it's not that bad, it's not that cold. It's like, you don't get it. Snow isn't about cold. I bet none of you guys have actually, you don't understand. Do you people actually live in like a snowy location? It doesn't snow when it's cold. Don't you get it? It has to be exactly around freezing to get maximum snowfall. That's what Aomori is. Aomori is this area with a shit ton of humidity because Japan is humid land, and then it's right next to the fucking hyper freezing cold Siberian winter air that comes down, and they merge exactly at Aomori Prefecture, right on top of Aomori City. So all the humidity suddenly freezes and you get 7 meters per year of snowfall, okay? All that shoveling builds character. Basically, we got like 2 6-inch snowfalls when back home, like per year. That ain't shit. You shovel a few times, that's it. It's not like, oh my god, the physical labor, I'm gonna fucking break my back shoveling this shit. You said snow doesn't fall if it's giga cold? It doesn't fall if it's giga cold. When you have these high pressure fronts, when it's actually cold, you don't get much snowfall. Obviously, your definition of giga cold isn't actually that cold. There is no manga that shows life on places like this. There is. Hokkaido Gyaruan. If you guys were actually educated like me and read proper manga by proper people, you would know that there is a lot of great manga from people in the Hokkaido area and stuff like that who has lived with deep snowfalls. The author of Tsurikichi Sanpei, I'm forgetting his name, specifically talks about his childhood living in a high snowfall area without any heavy machinery to save his ass, and how you would wear these like big straw like snowshoe things to like crush the snow, so you would create a path, and that would take them hours and stuff like that. If you think there's like no manga of something, there is a manga of something. You just haven't read it because you can only read the translated crap. It just means that you didn't get a handy-dandy translator to pirate that shit for you for free and then provide you with English. Because you are a foreigner secondary who can only consume Japanese media through the help of your weeb overlords. Give us a goat doujin author that never gets translated into English. I had one doujin author who only made about 4 or 5 doujins in a brief period of time. But he was the most emotionally sadistic person I've seen. He did a doujin where Street Fighter characters, Ibuki gets beaten to death after she gets raped, and then the tanuki that is waiting for her to come home dies of starvation because he refuses to eat because she's not there. Fucking straight up traumatizing shit. I'm pretty sure that has never been translated. But obviously I'm not gonna show it on stream. I'm assuming that he did not become a very successful author because people didn't want to subject themselves to that. Just say the author's name. I can't remember what it was, who he was called. Hold on. Look up. Let's see if actually I can look it up myself. Torausa. Yeah, I don't think it's been translated. Yeah, Torausa Injake. This is all the way back in Kamike 79. And one of them is straight up has a cover of Ibuki with like multiple black eyes as she has been punched by whatever guy. If we look at the comment section on the eHentai page, posted on February 2011, it's so brutal, but I couldn't stop reading it. I usually dislike this sort of thing, but knowing how Cody would act kinda lessened the effect. Would have preferred it better without fighting, but the art style is nice and cute on Ibuki's part. So in this, the artist uses his creative liberties to make Cody out to be an insane sadist? What the hell? Translation, please. Kills her at the end. Basically, the exchange goes, "Can I leave now? Huh? I'm a prisoner. You've seen my face, and I raped you. Can't leave witnesses. I won't tell anyone. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want to die." It's like a total boner killer to be able to read this stuff, especially since the art doesn't depict it as being all that hardcore. Takes all sorts, I guess. This is just something about the violence mixed with this artwork. Maybe I'm just a sadistic bastard. Oh, and that this is some sexy choking going on there. God, asphyxiation artwork is rare. I really hope this gets translated. It did not get translated. The thing that really pushes it over the top for me is the last page has... He actually took time to put in a final page in which Don-chan, which is Ibuki's pet tanuki, and then he put in like a few panels in which the pet tanuki is still waiting there for Ibuki's return, and he's not eating properly, and Ibuki's friend is begging him to eat, and then he finally hallucinates that Ibuki comes home, and then he dies. 2010, by the way. And then after that, you get the standard Dojin authors, the thing they write at the end, and he's just like, "How did you like this? The Don-chan end. Super Street Fighter 4, it's so interesting, isn't it? I'm playing with Ibuki and Kami. They're so cute. I have difficulty doing the combos, even in the trials as well. Okay, I hope we can meet again," as he completely ignores the fact that he just wrote a like 30-page doujin of Ibuki getting brutally murdered and then the tanuki starving to death. This man is a legit psycho. Or he might be the nicest person on the planet. I don't know. And he has like about three dojins of fighting game characters back when we didn't have like gacha and people still made dojins of fighting game characters. A more advanced, gentlemanly time. But all of them feature big titty females getting murdered brutally. Apparently he's incapable of just having a dojin in which normal sex happens. I love reading the author notes at the end just for the absolute vibe shift. My favorite one is the author notes apologizing for like missing the deadline. And be like, I'm so sorry. I did Dogesai at the publishing company, but they're like, no, we still can't make it. You're 5 days late. He's like, no, please, I won't be able to get to Komiket. And then they have to sell a book that's like only half finished. Those are always my favorite ones, where like half of the pages are just like sketches or only the dialogue is there. And they're like, I'm sorry. I tried my best. It's like, no, you weren't. You were playing Minecraft, dumbass. It's always people like this who are the most pleasant IRL. Yeah, I have a theory that the more fucked up the media you produce, you're actually a better person in real life, and then it's also vice versa. And not just like media, but like the more outwardly pleasant people are the more fucked up. So I like my media to be blue skies media. I want all my characters to have happy lives and just have happy endings. So by the vice versa principle, that means I'm a pretty fucked up sick bastard in terms of IRL. You're trying to comfort yourself with the thought that they might not be well-adjusted psychopaths. If they were a well-adjusted psychopath, would they be drawing dojins of this sick shit? I think a well-adjusted psychopath wouldn't be making dojins. I mean, if there's one thing we know about Republicans, it's like people are always doing the opposite of what they say is correct and morally right. So if you're like, I hate homosexuality, you're probably gay. If you're like, I respect women so much, I could never sexualize these 17-year-old anime characters, you probably have 10 trillion gigs of child porn, so on, so on. Malicious or dangerous people hide their sadism. All my favorite horror movie makers are weirdly wholesome. The people who are truly fucked up in real life spend a lot of time making sure that people don't know they're fucked up. They need to become confidants in the young and innocent to lead them astray and take advantage of them, so... Or maybe it's because they can't get their sick, twisted desires out in the fictional world. So instead it leads them to doing shit in real life. someone had translated the Kami Dojin. It seems like one of them has been translated, I think. Hold on, I have to take a piss. Why do they have to draw the dog dying? Again, this is what makes me remember this one Dojin author more than any other ones, because they took their extra time to draw an extra 5 panels for maximum emotional sadism of having the tanuki die. And I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with this people? A lot of people are okay with big titty girl being murdered, but nobody is okay with cute tanuki dying as it waits for his best friend to return. Hold on, I have to piss.
Thank you.
Doesn't she reanimate in the last couple panels? Guys, the reason why I'm introducing this author to you is because he literally murders all of the female characters in every single one of his dojins, and I can't forget him because he's so fucked up. Yes, all the female characters end up dead. I hate the dojin peddlers in Twitter. Like, shit, there's such a good-looking dojin that instantly catches my eye. Look down to find a link to a fancy DL site link every fucking single time instead of the original artist. What is this? Are these people trying to sell dojins that aren't theirs? What do you mean? Are these like Western people that didn't actually make the dojin and they're like, look how great a dojin this is, and they're just trying to sell it? BB loves this artist? No, the boobs are unironically too big. They don't match the body type. There's just very few Street Fighter dojins compared to like how fat-worthy the characters are. So any kind of Street Fighter dojin, even in a slightly competent artist, I'm probably going to save. What's an artist you actually like then that doesn't get translated? Well, it's hard for me to, off the top of my head, think of the artists that don't get translated because I'm looking for the Japanese version in the first place. So it doesn't matter to me at all whether it gets translated or not. The ones that truly bug me are the ones that don't get scanned. So that's basically me. It's not an issue for me in the first place, so I can't off the top of my head be like, oh, that doesn't get translated, that doesn't get translated. I certainly have a bunch of doujins which I think aren't very popular. I don't think have been translated, but does BaalBud consider himself a doujin artist or manga artist? I don't know what's the difference. See, again, you fucking weebs don't even know what you're talking about when you talk about this shit. Doujin, the term doujin means doujin shi. Doujin is a reference to people of the same, like, I don't know, thought process or like group and shit. So, by definition, it's a book that you create with your group of buddies. So basically anything can be a doujin. It doesn't have to be a parody of something else. It doesn't have to be something that you take to Comiket. It's a book that you make with your friends. So theoretically, if you have no friends, like all of us in this chat, then you can't be a doujin author. That's why the core concept behind doujin is the doujin sakuru, the circle. And why there will often be like the doujin circle name, or it's usually the doujin circle name and then the author's name. And they're two separate things. Speak for yourself. Everybody is a failure with no friends, just like me. Surely this is the case. Here I thought doujin was exclusively about fan works. Doujins don't even have to be manga. There were doujin shi of like novels and stuff back in the day. A good question would be, what doujin do you think shouldn't have been translated? Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is Western hentai consumers' first depressing story. And then they can't get over it, so then they have to be making like crazy diamond edits of Metamorphosis to get over the fact that they don't like the girl getting corrupted. It mind broke too many Western chuds. They can't handle the Japanese artistry. Metamorphosis was drawn by a foreigner? No. Shindo L was living in New York, and I think he's bilingual, but he's Japanese. There's a reason why I see the 4chan drawing board memes Asian jeans, spelling jeans G-E-A-A-N-S instead of the genetic one. And that's because the chances of you having the ability to draw without the Asian genes are fucking impossible. You're not gonna make it. As we can see in the stream that you're watching right now, I too was living in America, but I also have the Asian genes. If you don't have the powerful Jomon and Yaoi blood flowing through your veins, you just can't draw. This is a well-known fact. Ignore all the other people who could draw having Western genes in the past. I will say that I can always kind of tell when it's like anime being produced by Westerners that were inspired by anime. There's always something kind of off, and I'm not sure what it is, but I can always kind of tell when it's just like someone who really, really likes anime content, but they're not actually Japanese. The Chinese and Korean can do it, of course. I mean, of course they're using like Japanese character designers, but you know what I mean. I saw his interview. He draws his shit because he genuinely likes it. He needs to see the girl fall out with her parents and become a mega slut to come. LMAO. Unfortunately, I knew too many real mega sluts in real life in America. They weren't very attractive looking. Corruption only works as a fetish if there is something pure and beautiful to be corrupted in the first place. If it's average American female who is grossly overweight and has been educated by society that having sex with a lot of men is a good thing, there isn't anything real to be corrupted in the first place, so it's not really sexy. It's just like, well, I guess it's just another situation in which the American education system has failed. Are you talking about your classmates? My high school classmates, by the time I got to high school, I feel like, who am I thinking of? It was probably just like one or two girls in college who I was like, well, that's a loose woman. She isn't offering sex to me, but even if she was, I would be avoiding that. Why my eyes are slightly slanted despite being offensively European? Probably because Genghis Khan raped 10 million European women while he was conquering the continent 1,000 years ago. That's just fatty being slutty. You went to art college? I didn't go to art college. I just went to a liberal arts college and was an art minor. So yeah. I guess what it all just comes down to is that I don't like fat people. But I especially don't like fat people who are like, you can't handle my curves, I'm too sexy. If we're talking about trauma, I have been eternally traumatized by the number of fat people around me growing up in flyover America. If you went to art school, you should have had plenty of emaciated indie sleaze girls to observe. Yeah, I probably did. I wasn't paying that much attention to them. Too busy jacking off, I think. So many over here. There used to be tons of College of Arts and Crafts in Berkeley. I mean, Berkeley is like ground zero for heavily tattooed, heavily pierced, slightly overweight white girl who thinks she's super creative and also likes to have a lot of sex. Playing Final Fantasy XI. During college, I was mostly playing Call of Duty, actually. I graduated to Final Fantasy XI after I was unemployed post-graduation. I was surrounded by them, but I also worked at American Apparel, so I blame myself. American Apparel also was probably ground zero of that type. Oakland now, then in Berkeley. Is Berkeley yuppified at this point? Like, just based on the prices, that seems pretty possible. White girls need to look like Ashley or Heather again. Capcom nailed that look, so did Konami. I don't think they ever looked like Ashley or Heather. Well, I guess it depends on the location. Heather likes bread too much to be that skinny, unfortunately. That's literally the only thing I know about her. I was watching like the first 5 minutes of a Silent Hill playthrough and she's like, bread. It's like, oh, she's just like me. Grace is mid, true. But Ashley is mid as well. She's mid in an endearing way, which makes her like a 10 out of 10. I don't like the remake Ashley, though. Remake Ashley is one of the big negatives of the remake. In general, I'm a pretty defensive about the RE4 remake. I think it's, in many ways, it's better than the original in a lot of the gameplay. The original, if once you've played it like about 5 times, which I definitely have, like, it's so easy, even on professional, you know? But the remake, there's always like some like parrying that you have to do, so... Well, the big weaknesses of the remake are A, the Ada voice actress. Guys, don't let actors be voice actors. They're two different professions. And B, the Ashley model change looks a little off. The Ada voice actress was so fucking terrible. What happened, LMAO? I started playing RE4 in Japanese audio just for the sole reason that I couldn't handle her voice acting. Even though I think RE4 is one of the few Japanese games in which you should play with English audio. Because it's supposed to be like a cheesy Hollywood movie. But the Ada voice actress in the remake was so bad that I had to start playing in Japanese because every time she spoke, it was just like I wanted to gouge my ears out. It's not even like bad in like a original RE1 voice acting way. It's just like a complete lack of ability and just stale. It's not even endearing in a bad way. It's a bad in how the fuck did this fly in current year? I thought that they hired the person who played Ada in one of the movies because she was also Asian. So we're like, okay, will be politically correct. I think it was another... I haven't actually confirmed this, but it seemed to be another one of those DEI issues in which they're like, race is super important.
Rebecca, what are you doing in this place?
The 10-minute cut, guys.
What is this? Stop it! Don't open that door! What is it? What is this?
What is it?
Blood. Hope this is not Chris's blood. What is it? What is it?
What is this all about? I can't figure it out at all.
Here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you. That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
A classic.
Don't scare me.
That's what I was going to say.
But just take a look at this. It's Forrest. Oh my God.
It's Forrest.
Awful.
It's
I'm
awful.
going to find out what caused Forrest's death. It looks like he was killed by a crow or something. Whoa. This hall is dangerous. There must be a back door somewhere. Let's try to
Whoa.
find it first, shall we? Just a moment. I found something.
What is it?
What is it?
Weapon. It's really powerful, especially against living things.
Hey, what is it?
Especially against living things.
Dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch!
You're wounded. What kind of demon attacked you?
It was a huge snake, and also poisonous. Ugh.
I told you, don't worry. I'll just go and get some fresh air and be eaten by a monster.
You saved me.
Yeah,
That was close. Thanks,
That was
Barry.
close.
don't mention it. What a monster. I can't believe... What the hell is this place anyway?
That's what I was going to say.
This is 10 minutes long. They had a lot of voice lines, didn't they? These voice actors were really earning their pay, and I hope they didn't get paid very much, but, yeah. Leon saying dumb shit compilation. Guys, speaking of Leon, can someone explain to me what's going on in RE9 with Leon's age? So, is he supposed to be old? Is that why people are complaining about the age difference? But then he's young and hot again? Is he young and hot because of like some kind of special drug or something? He's like 50, but he's still hot because, of course, he's mature now. So he's old but just hot, and they're not going to explain why he's old and hot. That's just where we are. Aged but with a luscious body. He's old and hot because women want to goon. He is Last of Us age. The thing is that women still goon to old guys, though. Feminists have convinced us that it's unfair that women still find 50-year-old men attractive when female actresses get hosed by Hollywood as soon as they hit like 35. But women should blame themselves for being all like, oh, George Clooney, he's only 63. I bet his semen depositories still work. Tee-hee. Whereas the male physiology can sniff the dried up eggs from miles away, and it causes us to revolt in horror knowing that our semen will not be fertilizing anything. It's not our fault. You say that like men don't goon to older women, not like actual older women. Most of the men being like, she's so old but still so hot is mostly performative. when men are going after older women, it's part of their like new age DEI stuff where they present an older female, but she's just quote unquote older. Like what I'm drawing right now. That's exactly the topic of what I'm drawing right now, by the way. Men being like, I go after older women. I don't care if the eggs are dried up. And when they say older women, they mean this. And all of her indicators, besides her massive, wide, child-breeding hips, indicate that she's like 31 at most. But they're like, Dommy mommy, you're so old and strong. I respect older women. Mainly except by older they mean like 30. I do generally think older men look better, but the ones who want to date younger women are desperate creeps. Well, we're not talking about the ones in real life. We're talking about Hollywood actors who have aged like fine wine because they spend $1 million on their looks and aren't out to date 20-year-old women in the first place, like, Brad Pitt or whatever. And then, like, 2D old guys, so... Domina is so toothless it's boring. At least people are somewhat talking about her. The previous, like, 10 Overwatch heroes, you probably couldn't even name them at this point. When women say older men, they mean Leon. I don't know, man. There's consistently, like, Japanese females in my timeline. The only Japanese females that show up in my Twitter timeline, or Japanese people in general, are when I draw, like, an older guy with, like, a mustache, and they're like, can I hit the contact number for that elf with a mustache? You know how I had a elf tutor in the Orc Lady comic? Like, a Japanese female specifically wrote a comment in Japanese on that, being like, do you have the contact number for the older elf man with the mustache? So, yeah. The Japanese older man lusters are still going strong. I particularly like drawing guys that have kind of like this kind of, strong jawline. Or, and I like drawing them not because I'm trying to get the woman horny, but because I like, drawing the straight lines. But unfortunately, this has been activating the ovaries of some of the female nerds, especially the Japanese female nerds. Because I guess this character archetype is in kind of short supply in their media ecosystem right now, so they're a little thirsty right now. The ones that can't be satisfied by average pretty boy character designs are like, yes, Oji-san, Oji-sama is the phrase they use, Oji-san or Oji-sama. Lots of softer ikemen currently. It really shows you that we need to have a variety of character designs to appeal to all sorts of thirstiness in order to get the female dollars. We must not rest on our laurels and assume that if we just draw standard ikemen, all the women will be satisfied. We have to provide them with a wide variety of gooning options at all times. All women aspire to date men like Toshiro Mifune. I don't make the rules. Toshiro Mifune in short supply in 2026, it turns out. You can't just go to the random construction site and pick up a Toshiro Mifune like Kurosawa did back in the day. Korean beauty is playing a big role in taste over there currently. Times are tough for buff men. I don't think they're actually tough. It's easier to become a thin, pretty, a white-skinned, pale, pretty boy than it is to become a buff, gruff, muscular man like Mifune. It's always easier to lose weight than gain weight. Going to a construction site to look for men is pretty much cruising. It was a different time when a movie director had to go and just find his talent. Post-war was a crazy era, guys. Post-war Japan really was kind of just the Wild West in terms of everything they were doing. Cruising is truly a dying art. Okay, now that we mentioned cruising twice, look what you guys are making me do.
How would you like to disappear?
Disappear?
Go undercover.
You know this man? Who's here? I'm here.
It's too dark, I can't see the bodies.
These victims are all the same physical type.
What about him, Skip?
Late 20s, 140, 150 pounds. Dark hair, dark eyes.
Have you ever seen him before?
I want to send you out there to see if you can attract this guy.
How, where?
A New York City detective in search of a killer is about to disappear into the night.
Is it dangerous?
I can't talk about it.
How do you know you're gonna end up the same person when it's over?
An odyssey to the edge of city life.
Bartenders are starting to give me some information. There's this name keeps popping up all the time. There he is. The one with the hat.
Is that the one that followed you?
Yeah.
Why didn't you go with him?
I don't know. I think you should check him.
If you want to play, I'll play with you.
He's the wrong guy.
Prints don't match.
What he sees
Who's here?
Are they gonna show the,
I don't think I can do the job, Captain.
do they have the bar scenes up there? Pacino dances, let's fucking go, bros.
Hey, baby.
with someone.
Aren't we all? Want to dance?
That's a lot of men. There's just a gimp just there. What are they huffing? That's a good question. I love how the director is just like, stage direction, you get to stare at this guy because you want to fuck him. That's like the entire movie. The funniest part of this is that the people most enthusiastic of this culture in this chat, i.e. the women who are like, yeah, let's go, are the ones who are least likely or not the least likely to be let into those spaces. It's like, sorry, but you're not allowed in, lady. Men only. This is what gay bars were like before bachelorette parties infiltrated them. We should have never let the bachelorettes into the gay bar, yes. Can you give us your 5 favorite horror films? The Ring, Japanese. The Ring, English. A combination of clips of Friday the 13th in which people get killed in gruesome ways. What else? Wicker Man. That might be about it. I'm a big Wicker Man fan. I like how the priest is a virgin, which gives him powers to resist the evil pagan sex cults, and that in turn gets him killed. If he had just had sex, he wouldn't have died. It's the opposite of the average slasher film in which if they do have sex, they die. But in The Wicker Man, because the priest is a virgin, he gets killed. It's pretty funny. I have not seen the Nick Cage Wicker Man, but I want to. It just hasn't showed up on any of the streaming services recently, so yeah, I've only seen the OG. The OG shows up on the streaming services constantly, even though I've seen it before, so whenever it's there, I kind of end up watching it. I mostly enjoy horror for the atmosphere, so if it's just like a bunch of jump scares, I'm not interested. Wicker Man is just kind of a slow burn where you can enjoy the atmosphere of the island, you know? That's what's important to me. Just like a sense of foreboding and dread. Horror movies that can't convey the sense of dread I don't like them. So I like stuff like It Follows. It Follows is a great dread movie. Do you like the Shyamalan movies? Not really. I feel like he's the very definition of not necessarily jump scare, but he likes his twists, right? It Follows fucking slaps. It Follows also a good sexual metaphor movie, obviously. But the core concept of It Follows, in which like someone you can see off into the distance and then something is approaching from the distance but you can't really make it out, is one of those like weird core primal fears that it was interesting that we didn't have a movie that's really about that until It Follows. But it was something that I could sympathize with. Like, it's like, oh, I see someone off in the distance, they're approaching. Huh, I wonder what that is. I can't really make it out yet. Oh god, something isn't right. What the fuck? What could that be? It's a good concept. Shocking that it took so long for someone to make a movie out of it. I recommend The Substance. I have not seen The Substance. Do you like Stephen King movies? I do not like Stephen King. Is it Stephen King or Stephen King? Stephen King. I feel like when they pronounce his name, it's kind of like a combination of Stephen and Stefan. It's like Stefan. I feel like his stuff is just, it's a little too, like, I thought of this randomly, and I'm gonna throw it in. Stephen, but written as Stefan. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that was what it was. Whenever they say his name, I think it's Stephen King. Stephen King is one of those people that is like, I write it as I go, and then you can really tell that he writes it as you go. Some authors that write it as they go, you can't tell that they're writing it as they go, but like Stephen King is definitely, you can tell he's writing it as he goes. So I can't be too supportive of him. I need a little bit more planning in my content, I guess. A possessed futon? I would fuck the shit out of that possessed futon. It wouldn't know what hit it. I don't fear the futon fears me. Also, I've abandoned my futon back in America. I brought my sheets, but I'm fucking a new futon now. Hence the revenge part, because I abandoned it. Don't worry, I'll be coming back at some point. Will you find a new lover at the local Muji? I went to Muji the other day. I always called it Muin Ryohin instead of Muji Ryohin. I always thought it was read as Muin instead of Muji. Japanese kanji reading is fucking bullshit. They just figure shit out as they go. And I was looking at stuff, and I've been thinking for a while, I think Muji Ryohin is a scam. They pretend like, oh, we aren't like the other producers, we don't have brand logos on our shit, and we have higher quality stuff. But I think the stuff that has brand logos on it generally is just higher quality. It's like one of those, it's like the people who are obsessed with having less shit in their house. Like everything has to be minimalistic. And they don't notice that in the process of being minimalistic, they've given up on a lot of convenience and like higher quality stuff. Muji Ryohin is like, look how fashionable we are. Everything is such a clean, crisp design. It's so much higher quality, blah, blah, blah. And it's not that expensive at least, but... Faux minimalist while BB enters the room. Like... I think I actually like logos. I'm not someone that's gonna spend all of my savings on having a t-shirt that says Supreme on it. But I'm not gonna go out of my way and pay extra to have no logos on it either. Depends on the logo. Yes, I only wear Sanrio logo content. I only wear My Melody brand clothing. That's why everything I wear is pink. To show women that I'm a stable, mentally stable individual. I have only My Melody t-shirts and underwear. Do you have any paraphernalia? I had a few statues. I had a few Bishoujo statues. I had Bishoujo Jason. I had Bishoujo Freddy. And I had Black Canary, despite not liking anything DC because I like, bunny suits. So it was those three. Everything you own is Big Challenges themed. I don't even know what is Big Challenges. Oh shit. This is the first time I've seen this thing. This is what they're talking about. Big Challenges again? No problem. Hello Kitty Island Adventure. Was Hello Kitty Island Adventure popular? I feel like it would be a huge Animal Crossing competitor. So I'm kind of shocked that it didn't make a run for Nintendo's money. I feel like it would just be really able to challenge the Animal Crossing empire that Nintendo has for female attention. It is popular? Okay. I thought that... Because, obviously I don't hear about it in my male-dominated news sphere, so I didn't know how popular it was. Do you know they released more life-size Pokemon plushies? By life-size, are they, towering over you? Do they have like gigantic Snorlax plushie? Is there a Snorlax plushie large enough to block the road? If they don't have that, I'm not interested. The Sims dropping the ball left to avoid that Vex to be claimed. These game companies, man, they have something that's popular and makes money, and then they do it for a while, and then they just like lose the ability to just make more of it. It's really weird. It's just like an obvious example of how capitalism is a failed system. There is a life-size Gardevoir, wink. Only if it has a handy-dandy Ona hole shape size hole where I can insert my Ona hole for sex. The Vaporeon is anatomically correct. Is it fully modeled, guys? You don't understand. It's just for research purposes. And then they decided to not mine the infinite gold anymore. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing. Like, there's just obvious money-making schemes. And then they just, like, stop. Like, instead of trying to make a Battlefield that can compete with Call of Duty, which it hasn't been able to do for so many years, they should just be going in on The Sims. Please don't fuck Vaporeon's cloaca. I assume that Vaporeon has a slicked, moist pussy and a asshole like a normal dog cat creature. I don't think it's a single hole that both shits and pisses and emits eggs and stuff. Although I guess Pokemon are egg breeders, so maybe that is the case. Who knows? Sims 2 was the pinnacle. I'm only interested in The Sims as a torture simulator for bullying my Sims, so honestly it doesn't really matter to me which version I'm getting. They must all suffer. The EA decided to get in on the modding situation and ruined it for everyone. Is it the same situation as Hasbro, in which they saw people having fun with their product and they were like, we want all the money? Because that's definitely what happened with D&D, although D&D is still popular. Hasbro is like, wait, people are using our product that's meant to be used in that manner in which people get to take the D&D scenarios and have fun among themselves. This cannot be. Everything must give us direct economic benefit. We must police the modding scene. There's money that needs to be made. Where they're literally stealing from us by creating content for themselves. That money should be ours. Somebody should talk to these companies and tell them the story of the goose with the golden egg and like the farmer trying to murder the goose so they can get all the eggs at once, and they just have a dead fucking goose because it's trying to tell them something, but they're too stupid to figure it out. In fact, pretty much every American capitalism like company at this point is trying to just murder their golden egg, i.e. the customers that are willing to tolerate their bullshit by making all of their services worse and worse and worse until people are forced to like switch to something free like Linux. Basically, a lot of these service and software companies are behaving like they live in a world in which A, piracy, and B, free versions of their software don't exist. And there's a lot of people that are using this shit because it's still the most convenient thing that they have, and they've been using it for many years. And then the software company is like, no, we need to make more money. Let's just make everything worse and just capitalize on our user base. That's what the big three console makers are doing. Big three console makers are... Well, Nintendo is fine because Nintendo fans will, no matter how hard they get fucked in the ass, will never abandon Nintendo. It's much closer to a cult or a religion. So I don't think they need to be worried about that. Microsoft is the most obvious thing that's doing that with Game Pass price increases. Sony is doing it with price increases for PS Plus as well, but considering Microsoft is shitting the bed even harder, they seem to be slightly more protected. And then people can't just like buy a PC either because of the AI RAM prices shit. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to be punished for it. Nintendo is suing US over tariffs. Yeah, but that's just standard US. That's not the same issue as where I'm talking about these software companies fucking with their user base. In fact, video game consoles and stuff like that are pretty weak compared to the true leeches in this scenario, like Adobe. Adobe basically being like, oh, that software you've been using for the last 20 years, it's, we're gonna make it so you can't use it, you won't get any more updates. Not just free updates. Everything is gonna be made into a subscription model, and we're just gonna take away everything in general. And people are just like, well, I guess I just have to abandon this company. And all they had to do was just keep on going at their current state, but they've actually properly gotten everybody to fucking get off their asses and find a different software and learn a different software. It's that bad. Adobe is one of the greatest villains of our time, but not enough people are paying attention. Is a Windows 12 rumor that they want to be sub-based? Well, of course they want to be sub-based. That isn't a rumor. Every software company wants their shit to be sub-based. This isn't like some big secret. Corporations have realized that if you can only sell one thing to people and you can only sell it once, then your company is going to collapse once you've sold it to all the customers. They all want it to be subscription so they can make money for infinity. Or if it's a product that can't be subscription based and it's like a single unit, they have to make the product shitty enough that it breaks eventually. Well, not even eventually, quickly, so that you have to buy a new one. Any kind of capitalist system that's based on something where if you just buy the thing and then you use it for the next 30 years, that company's going bankrupt. That's even before, like, the current and shitification in which they're purposely making shit worse. Even back in the day, this was like a huge problem. If like you made like a really sturdy piece of equipment and nobody had to, change it, that company wouldn't be able to survive because the people who would want it would just buy it and then you would be done. So Microsoft is already essentially doing that with Office 365. So Microsoft is going to be shielded from most of this shit because they are the corporate standard, and it's not people making the purchasing decisions, it's corporations. and you have to have the same format as everybody else to communicate with them, so they're basically going to be fine. I remember when I was working at Toyota as a translator, I needed an image editing software with layers so I could draw on top of these PDFs an Adobe product that couldn't be edited at the time. I don't know if they've changed it, but like Toyota their policy was they would just save these Excel files as PDF, so I couldn't translate on top of it. So I would take a screenshot of the PDF and, paste stuff on top of it. So we already have one issue being caused by Adobe with their stupid fucking PDF format, which isn't good for anything. I don't know why it's still being used. It's like a fucking relic of the early internet age, which is basically everything. The entire reason why Adobe has any kind of market share at all is because they were the first adopter of all this shit. So instead of like actually getting the PowerPoint, I would have to fiddle with the PDF. So I needed some kind of drawing software with layers to work on top of these PDF screenshots. And then they were like, okay, you can't use this free drawing software. I was like, yeah, but I could just do this with any kind of software. It's like, no, we have a list of software that you're allowed to download and has to be purchased through our in-company store and shit like that. So instead of getting like any kind of free drawing software and loading it onto the computer, I basically charged them. I was forced to charge Toyota with like a $200 license purchase of Photoshop just to do like basic editing of images. And this is how all these corporations, software corporations, still haven't gone bankrupt, because corporations are big and slow and unwieldy and they can't make smart decisions. And they're very wasteful. I'm trying to save them money and they can't fucking do anything about it. And this is Toyota, which is a company that's obsessed with saving money and is trying to like reduce a cost that of a part that costs them like 5 cents to make, to reduce it to like 4 cents. They're all about Kaizen and shit, and yet their in-office culture is still like, you have to buy from this list of software, all of which is all very expensive and meaninglessly expensive. So there we go. Another purchase for Adobe, which is why it hasn't gone out of business. It's that simple. So imagine how powerful Microsoft 365 is, just because everybody has to use PowerPoint and Excel and shit. Capitalism is a fucking joke. There isn't any real competition. Especially when it gets to like business uses. It's more secure bullshit. Yeah, that. If I change the word from company to old man for Toyota, suddenly it makes sense why they didn't take your advice. It's not just Toyota. Toyota is probably one of the more nimble companies on the planet, which is horrifying to think how backward thinking a lot of these companies are. I should really stop reading the New York Times opinion section because literally every day there's one of these boomers writing an editorial about how we need to prepare for AI to take all our jobs. And they're all different like versions of like, should be hopeful of AI, we should be afraid of AI, but there aren't any fucking editorials being like, the only reason why AI is taking our jobs is because these stupid fucking corporations are just willing to fire everybody, and it's not actually capable of doing any of the stuff that it's supposed to do. It's just another segment of shitification, but the boomers are, they're too awed by the ghost in the machine to notice this. The state of California is especially prone to being under Windows yoke. They use Outlook, Teams, and will not use anything else. Well, if all of your business partners are in Outlook, don't you also have to use Outlook ultimately? This is the strongest part of our tech companies, is that once they create a monopoly and everybody is on the monopoly, then it's very hard to move on from that monopoly unless you consistently fuck up for like 5 or 6 years at a time and an alternative emerges. Like, nobody has moved on from Discord yet, despite everyone is preparing for it. I never used MSN Messenger back in the day either. Probably because I don't communicate with anybody. The weird ass shaped collar. Just use it for girl chatting. By girl chatting, do you mean like catch a predator situations? Guys, which messenger system should I be using if I want to talk to a child for purely non-sexual reasons, asking for a friend, haha? What is the method that... I guess it's Roblox, isn't it? The child predator messaging app. It's just Roblox, probably. Yeah, it's Roblox, right? Easy Roblox. Everybody knows that, silly. There's only one place to go. It's Roblox. Of course. How could I forget? The Walmart of sexual predators. Snapchat is probably pretty high as well, right? Also, isn't there like a TikTok streaming service that has like all these 13-year-old kids dancing on it? And everybody in chat is like, wow, you're so talented, little girl. You're such a great dancer. As thousands of sexual predators vigorously masturbate. Roblox teenagers are meeting up on there. It's wild. The wildest part is that the Roblox founder, the company, is like, hey kids, you should use Roblox as a dating site. Like they were actually like, this is a great business opportunity for us guys. Did you know that there's a shit ton of underage kids using our video game platform for children? This would be a great place to get it to act as a dating site so these kids can meet up with middle-aged men. This is our new business strategy to make more money. Three users were having a gangbang in public in Roblox. Truly degenerate. It's mostly VR chat in Roblox. It's not like the good old days when we had MMORPGs for this purpose. Not like the good old days in Final Fantasy XIV. Just a few girls hanging out in Limsa Lominsa. Just some cats chilling with each other. I like how happy she's looking. As a sex crime is happening in front of her. Average female, parentheses, male interaction in Final Fantasy XIV MOBA. Not MOBA, MMORPG. She got next, yeah, probably. I miss the MMORPG era where we had all like the socialization, but it was like you had it combined with this sense of, I won't say community, but I guess because there was such an obvious time sink element to it, what I really enjoyed about the MMORPG era of the internet was that you knew that the more amazing gear the guy had on inside the MMORPG, the more of a loser they were in real life, just based on like the time constraints. So if the guy had like insane gear that would take them thousands of hours to earn, you just knew that they were fucking doing nothing with their life in real life. So there was like always this sense of like awe. Like you always knew that this guy was real, the real thing. You're like, holy shit. He's actually like thrown away his entire future to play this game. That's so inspiring. Now that element is gone from our internet societies. The most you get is just people where you check their Steam account and they have like 3,000 hours in Dota or whatever. Pick your poison, Ragnarok, MapleStory, or RuneScape. There's an infamous Japanese screenshot in Ragnarok Online where a guy is asking a girl with like, well, not a girl, but obviously another guy with a female avatar if he can jack off to that female avatar. And the female avatar character is like, Shoganai nya, which is like, well, I guess it can't be helped, nya. She is maintaining their character even as someone is asking permission to jack off to their avatar. And it's just like, bro, just jack off. Don't ask for permission. It's not like you're on voice chat. It is what it is. It's a very Japanese reaction. Like, I guess it can't be helped. It's a Japanese reaction to a lot of things. It's just like, well, he has to jack off looking at my avatar. There's nothing that we can do. Also the part where he's asking for permission as if that somehow is like, makes it acceptable is a very Japanese thing to do as well. It's like, I asked for permission. It's fine, right? It's like one of the most common responses. It also doesn't have a great translation. We usually translate it as it can't be helped. Shikatanai. One of the standard Japanese reactions to having your entire home totaled by an earthquake or something. Average Japanese reaction when the shogun is like, you must commit ritual suicide because you did something slightly wrong. They're like, well, it can't be helped. Time to kill ourselves. This is just how Japanese society works. We must accept responsibility and allow our avatar to be used as masturbation fuel for one of our guild clan mates so he can relieve his sexual tension. At that point, I would just stab the shogun myself. Well, they have a lot of other things, like their family and stuff, to maintain. This keyhole on this shirt is going to be a problem. I can already tell. It's gonna be. I really have to get the boob shape down correctly before I work on it. This is going to be very complicated and difficult. The boobs must be heavy and sagging. Ne-chan, please. Don't destroy my prostate. So, how is everyone doing today? This is also Indian versus White Boss Queen the comic. I like how we've had a recent realization of Indian people in America that they are somehow included in the whole racism thing. And you have like these Indian tech billionaires being like, no, I support the American dream. I'm white like you guys. And the Republican Party is like, actually, no, you're not. You will not be one of us. It's episode 5778 of Minority who thinks that they were an honorary white, finding out that they were, in fact, not white. And nobody gets to be white unless they're white. Note that the concept of white changes pretty frequently. Jude, thanks for the sub. I appreciate the support. 21 months is a long time. Try not to die in Nippon land. I will try, but it's nice right now because it's winter, but in the summer, I don't know how hard I will be successful at not dying in Nippon land. It's gonna get really hot and uncomfortable soon. That's literally what happens in Spider-Verse. They put an Indian Spider-Man 2, lol. So India has been able to cruise as one of the model minority members recently, but now they've been getting enough exposure that the white supremacists are like, no, you're not one of us. Also, that combined with like the fact that every Indian CEO, like tech billionaire CEO, is making our lives worse right now. Like all the current CEOs pushing AI slop on us are Indians right now, so that's another reason to increase our racism going on. The upper caste, Brahmin, hyper-competent tech CEO Indians are making our life worse with their techno slop. And then the lower caste Indians, now we have all this AI videos of them like gang raping tourists and shit. So the Indian reputation is getting hurt on like both sides of the caste spectrum. And then you have the GOP people being like, yeah, even though you voted for Trump, we're still gonna be racist toward you. The only demographic more scary than a Karen is a rich Americanized Indian woman. In terms of the amount of service they expect from the local Starbucks, there's not enough around my area in America that we didn't really have many encounters with the Indian woman version of the Karen, so I don't know how bad it can get. But I assume if you were an Indian woman from like one of the upper castes, you would have levels of like expecting society to accommodate you equal to a white woman, or perhaps even more. Domina and the new Microsoft boss are parallels. I mean, we'll see how long she's around. I don't think Microsoft has any idea what they want to do with the Xbox division, so pretty much like every tech CEO, she might just be like another sacrificial lamb before the shareholders are like, no, you have to do something with it. I can't imagine that the Xbox brand is going to be around for that much longer at this point. It feels like it's entered the final stage in terms of like we have to extract every single last drop of value we have from the brand before we put it down and shoot it in the back of the shed. Like, there's no way that they think that they can raise Game Pass prices by like what, double it, and still have a large customer base and win over the market. So I think they've fully entered the we have to milk our true believers one last time before, you know, even they give up. Meanwhile, the men are busy destroying bathrooms by their aggressive shitting. They will bully the fuck out of most people unless it's their direct superior. I must say that I don't necessarily want to have a ton of immigrants from a society in which discrimination is hard-baked into their general social system and their religious caste system, and they have rates of difference between rich and poor that make even countries like America look pale in their extremes. It seems like that would be a net negative for society. As someone who follows the NBA, we have one Indian owner. We might have some more Indian owners, but we have one very visible Indian owner, and he's by far the worst owner in the NBA, at least when it comes to making very poor decisions on personnel. For those of you who don't know, this is the Sacramento Kings owner, Vivek Ramaswamy or whatever. Average Indian tech billionaire who thinks he knows what he's doing, and he has absolutely no idea what he's doing. They put laxatives in Indian food. I believe it's just the water being heavily polluted with bacteria or something. I've never had diarrhea by eating Indian food personally. It might just be my stomach bacteria is very strong or something, but my intestines have handled that with it like a champ. I've literally only gotten diarrhea or something close to diarrhea by eating a specific food once, and that was Panda Express at the airport. Like 12 hours later, I got to Japan, and I was just like, oh fuck, something's wrong. Oh, it's the Panda Express. American Chinese food too powerful. Luckily, I've never eaten bad sushi and stuff. You ain't eating true Indian food? True, I've only been eating sanitized Indian food in Japan and America that has been properly removed out of its natural Indian environment so that we don't die from food poisoning, so... Panda Express willingly. I thought I would try something. See, I don't like eating airplane food because I can always like get nauseous and throw up on the airplane, so I want to eat before I get on the plane. So the McDonald's at the airport was pretty full, so I tried Panda Express once. It did not turn out well. Actually, it wasn't even that bad diarrhea. I do not get the runs very commonly. My stomach has been holding up pretty well. I've only got constipated once as well, and that was when I graduated from college. And I thought I was having like an ulcer or my, not pancreas, what do you call it, appendix burst or something. Because I had like a sharp pain in my stomach, and I went to the hospital and they're like, oh, you're just constipated. I was like, what? Because it was the first time I had been constipated in my life. But apparently the stress of graduating in April 2009 when there was absolutely zero job market and there was like no prospects of what I was going to do with my future made me so stressed out that I became constipated and I had to like use enemas for a while to get that poop out of me. But in general, my stomach is pretty strong. Panda Express's food is just vile. They give free meals when the Dodgers win, and I won't even take it then. Don't you want delicious orange chicken? I had Panda Express a while back, not the one in the airport. I just tried it out, and I was fine. It was only the airport Panda Express that fucked me up. I usually just buy a sourdough sandwich before the plane ride and bring a giant water bottle. I actually drank too much water on the previous flight to Japan because I was feeling nauseous because I had caffeine and stuff. And after that, I actually had like diarrhea from the water. And it wasn't like diarrhea in which like your food got like fucked up. It was like literally diarrhea because the only thing in my body was just like water because I hadn't eaten for, I don't know, 40 hours or so. It took a while of eating solid food to get me back online. I think I'm basically done with caffeine at this point. I don't know if my body can handle it. I think I should just give up. Not that I want to drink caffeine, but it's interesting because I was drinking caffeine just fine for quite a while. And then at one point it's just like suddenly my body's like, no, no more caffeine. You died of dysentery. Thank you, Oregon Trail message. I only played Oregon Trail because I wanted to shoot shit. We never went hungry because I was always murdering animals in the hunting minigame. Instead, we would just dive with failing to ford the river or whatever. I used to, but now that I usually travel with others, I must eat to spare them with my hungry spells. Now that I've stopped, well, I haven't stopped, but I've reduced my carb intake a lot. I've noticed that my hunger resistance has gone way up. Like, I can just, like, not eat for longer periods of time. It really does show you that a large part of what we think is like our body telling us to eat is just like hormones that can be controlled. We don't actually have to eat as much as our stomach lies often. We can just trick our stomach by drinking water before a meal and then eating a bunch of fiber, and then the stomach is like, oh, I'm full. I don't have to eat now. It's like, huh. You're pretty fucking stupid, stomach. Because you just only ate like 100 calories, and that was just a bunch of water. But somehow you feel like you don't have to eat, even though our caloric intake is way too low. You stupid fucking cuck. It's also why I'm insisting on a protein-heavy breakfast. It does make a difference, doesn't it? If you just eat like 2 eggs and like a big piece of chicken breast at breakfast, your stomach is like, oh, this is gonna take forever to digest this, and then you're not hungry for quite a while. Chuck the wagon and floated across. I played Oregon Trail before most of chat was alive. I'm not most of chat. I also played Oregon Trail in its original state. My elementary school had all the, what do you call them, Max? The black and white fucking ASCII Oregon Trail in its most original, purest form. What else do we have besides Oregon Trail? We had a game called Glider, which I thought was the coolest shit. And then once the computers got updated, we had something Math Storm. Had to start drinking protein shakes for the first time in my life. I really didn't think protein was this important. Protein shakes are an easy way to get protein, but it's probably better if you chew, if you want to stay full. Chewing has a lot of positive benefits. Ski Free is the Yeti that kills you. Yeah. That was in the PC at our daycare. I mean, if you're in America, you can just get protein by eating canned beans. That's definitely going to be the cheapest way, but then also you have to deal with the farts. In Japan, they don't have the canned beans in the same way. They have natto and stuff, but I was looking at their bean collection, and instead of being a can, they were selling it in these like plastic packages, and it was like super expensive for just a small amount of beans. This is what happens when you go outside of the Japanese diet in Japan, where food is generally cheap, but once you start like eating non-Japanese stuff, like the Japanese, the food industry has figured that they can charge more to Japanese people that are like stuck up and think they're being fashionable by like putting lima beans or whatever on their salad or whatever. They know they can upcharge, so I can't just rely on the canned beans, canned pinto beans as my cheap-ass protein. I don't want to eat too much natto every day, though. I do eat like a pack of natto per day, but I think you can get gout if you eat too much beans, so I don't think you can rely on them as your only source of protein. It has whatever acid in it that causes gout. I had a hard time eating a lot lately, and because I wasn't eating protein, my legs started shaking as I walk. It's insane. Your muscles were atrophying because they didn't have enough, like, what do you call it, amino acids to recharge them. Yeah, that definitely means you need to eat more protein. I looked up canned food. Yeah, you can get, like, mackerel and stuff in canned. But the cheap food stuff in Japan are tofu, natto, if we're talking proteins. Eggs. Daikon is insanely cheap for some reason. I guess everybody can just make daikon radishes in their backyard. There's just like an oversupply of daikon. You can get these massive ass daikon that will last you weeks for like 75 yen, so... Memma? I don't eat memma. Bean sprouts are often considered to be the cheapest form. It's not protein, of course. In fact, I don't think they have anything besides vegetable fiber. But you used to be able to buy these massive bags of bean sprouts for cheap. But I think they've gone up a little bit in price. We can get a nice can of surströmming fermented herring. Yeah, we ain't eating the fermented herring. We're already eating the fermented milk and cheese and yogurt and then fermented soybeans and not, we don't need anything more fermented. Also kimchi. Kabocha is always nice, but I'm biased. I don't really want any kabocha. I feel like kabocha is just like eating sugar. An extra layer of sugar. I already get enough, or I'd rather just eat it for the fiber, but like, I already get enough sugar, so I don't want like the sugary vegetable. I know it has stuff like carotene and stuff, but I eat carrots. Eggs have protein. Eggs have protein, and they also have like most of the nutrients your body needs, so a combination of like eggs, natto, tofu, brown rice is probably enough. But of course I'm still gonna eat meat because I'm an American, son. Also notifying people who are interested in getting a commission that commission auction will be open again soon because I finished the one I had been working on. I went vegan for a while, and my mom took me to the mosque so they could tell me not eating meat is haram, LMAO. Vegan isn't going to help you with your lack of protein, that's for sure. Vegans often struggle to get enough protein and vitamin B12 and stuff. I can't remember which vitamin it was, but there's a specific vitamin that you get deficiencies of when you don't eat meat, so you have to take supplements. I think it was B12. Renaissance style Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson sitting on the mount, extending his finger for God to pull it. Michelangelo style. In this case, God is portrayed by Carl Anthony Towns or something, I don't know. I don't get the vegans and stuff who refuse to eat meat because, like, it's not even like their argument is that they feel bad for animals. It's like humans don't have the right to take the lives of any other animals and shit like that. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Do you not watch the animals eating the other animals? Are you getting angry that animal one is eating the other animal? Like, I don't get it. Some people just have a very utopian view of life and death. It's a small club and you aren't in it. If I was gonna go vegetarian, I'd probably adopt some of like the Buddhist monk food styles because they have a long historic culture of eating vegetarian and they have like a lot of different tasty cooking styles. It's called Shojin Ryori, and it's you know, it has a lot of complex umami shit in it. There are vegans out there that won't eat meat unless they hunt it themselves, which I guess isn't vegan, but whatever. That ain't vegan. That's just a do-it-yourself attitude. The truly crazy ones aren't the vegans, it's the fruitarians. I think that's the right way to pronounce it. Fruitarianism. A diet that consists primarily of consuming fruits and possibly nuts and seeds, but without any animal products. They wish to avoid killing anything, including plants, and refer to Amisa fruitarianism. Motivation comes from a fixation on the utopian past, the hope being to return to a past that predates an agrarian society to when humans were simply gatherers. There was a woman who was obsessed with only eating fruit, and she died recently from nutritional deficiencies. Like that video floating around with the bear mauling a deer and two yuppies think people should stop the bear, LMAO. If the bear is denied eating that deer, then the bear is gonna starve to death probably. So you are also paradoxically denying the bear's right to live as well. And by letting the deer live, you're also denying the right of a lot of like small shrubs and stuff to live because the deer is gonna eat that shit. Unless we're going full photosynthesis, which I don't think any of us are doing, we're probably doing a lot of murdering on some level to survive. And the thing is, not even the plants that are doing photosynthesis are completely divorced from murdering each other. Plants are constantly trying to figure out ways to fuck each other up. People who think that, you know, plants are some sort of non-competitive society don't know shit about botany. Why do you think they all are emitting like these weird chemicals that sow the earth with like stuff that prevents other plants from growing, or literally like strangling other plants if you're a vine or something like that? These things are fucked up. Call yourself a homesteader. Homesteader waifu. Go and get water from the well 20 miles away. Carry it back. Walking. I don't know what to do with her arm here. I don't want it to be stretching into Emma's area now that I drew it. Kind of feels weird. Maybe we'll have it on her boob. But I don't want it to get into the way of this curvature right here. This is probably better. It will draw attention to the breasts. Not that you need any extra help. Male viewing line just immediately goes to the bust. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the stream here. See you around, boys. Fuck. I will be opening commission auction maybe today.